November 16, 2014, from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, it was the Cincinnati Bengals at the New Orleans Saints. The Saints won the toss and they elected to receive, so they would start with the ball on their own 20, and on their first possession, they would get the ball all the way across midfield and they would drive all the way down into field goal range and into the red zone. Their drive would stall on the 13 though, and Shayne would come out to attempt the 31-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and the Saints put the first points on the board with the score 3-0, New Orleans over Cincinnati. So now the Bengals would take over on their own 23, and they would end up marching down the field as well. On 3rd and 8 from the 36, Dalton would hit right for an 8-yard pass to bring the ball to the 44 for a first down. And then on 3rd and 8 from the 36, Dalton went to Hill, and they picked up 13 yards on the pass, and that would make it a first down on the New Orleans 41. Then on 2nd and 4 from the 35, Pierman ran for 21 yards to bring the ball to the red zone for a first down on the New Orleans 14. And then on 3rd and 8 from the 12, Andy Dalton dropped back to pass and he hit Jermaine Gresham for a 12-yard touchdown, and it was now 7-3 as the Bengals took the lead. So Cincinnati 7, New Orleans 3, and now the Saints would take over with about 3 minutes left in the first quarter. They had the ball on their own 20 to start their drive. Then on 3rd and 3 from the 27, Drew Brees would find Cooks for a 5-yard pass, and that would pick up the first down. This was now a 1st and 10 on the 32, and then Drew Brees hit Cooks for a 14-yard pass to bring the ball to the 46 for the first down. And then on 2nd and 6 from the 50, Drew Brees went to Louisville for a 3-yard pass, and that would bring the first quarter to a close. So after 1 quarter of play, the score was Cincinnati 7, New Orleans 3. Now to open things up in the second quarter, it was Saints ball on the 47 of Cincinnati. It was 3rd and 3, and Ingram ran for 4 yards to pick up the first down. Then on 2nd and 9, Brees hit Colston for a 16-yard pass to make it a first down on the 26. Then on 2nd and 9 from the 25, Brees went to Colston for a 16-yard pass, and it was now 1st and goal on the 9. So then they would end up with a 1st and goal on the 3 after a penalty a couple plays later of unnecessary roughness against the defense. But then an incomplete pass would make it 2nd and goal on the 3. Ingram ran for 2 yards, and now it was 3rd and goal on the 1. Ingram got stopped for no gain, and now on 4th and goal from the 1, the Saints decided to go for it, and Drew Brees actually threw a pass, and Louisville lost a yard, so they turned the ball over on downs as they were just 3 feet away, just 3 meters away. From, well, a meter away actually, 3 feet away from scoring. They couldn't do it. 1 yard out, and now the Bengals had the ball on their own 2-yard line with about 10 minutes left in the first quarter. And on 2nd and 9 from the 3, Andy Dalton hit Burkhead for an 11-yard pass as they got out of the literal shadow of their own end zone, and that was a first down on the 14. Then on 3rd and 2 from the 22, Dalton hit A.J. Green for a 13-yard pass to bring the ball out to the 35 for a first down, and then Jeremy Hill ran for 21 yards to bring it out to the 44. Then on 2nd and 10 from the 44 of New Orleans, Andy Dalton dropped back and hit A.J. Green for a 21-yard pass that would bring the ball to the New Orleans 23 for a first down. Then on 3rd and 6, there was a penalty against the defensive encroachment, and that would make it 3rd and 1. Hill picked up 2, and that would make it a first down on the New Orleans 12. They would end up stalling, though, and they would have to bring out Nugent to attempt a 22-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and the score was now 10-3 Cincinnati over New Orleans as they extended their lead to 7 points. So now with about 3 minutes left in the first half, New Orleans would take over on their own 20, but they would end up punting the ball from the 39 after 5 plays. So now the Bengals got the ball back with less than a minute left before halftime. They had it on their own 16. They actually went backwards on first down, but they actually then ended up going for a field goal a couple plays later as Nugent would attempt a 42-yarder. It was up and it was good, and it was now 13-3 Cincinnati over New Orleans. And that was the score going into halftime. So to start things off in the third quarter, the Bengals had a 10-point lead. They would start off with the ball, but after 5 plays, they would end up punting to the Saints. The Saints now had the ball, and they would end up punting the ball after 6 plays. So now Cincinnati would get the ball for the second time in the second half with less than 10 minutes left in the third, and they started off on their own 50. And they would march into New Orleans territory all the way down to the 1-yard line. And on first and goal from the 1, Andy Dalton hit Gresham for a 1-yard touchdown, and it was now 20-3 as the Bengals extended their lead to 17 points over the Saints. So now the Saints got the ball with about 6 minutes left in the third. They start off on their own 20, and they would put together a long drive as they marched down the field, across midfield, into field goal range, all the way down into the red zone. And on 2nd and 10 from the 15, Drew Brees went to Ingram for a 6-yard pass, and that brought the third quarter to a close. So after 3 quarters of play, the score was Cincinnati 20, New Orleans 3. And to open up the fourth quarter, it was 3rd and 4 on the Cincinnati 9. Drew Brees dropped back to pass. He hit Stills for a 9-yard touchdown, and now it was a 10-point game as it was 20-10, Bengals over the Saints. So now the Bengals would take over on their own 20 with just a few seconds off the clock in the fourth quarter. They would end up getting into New Orleans territory. And on 3rd and 2 from the 42 of New Orleans, Andy Dalton dropped back and he had A.J. Green for an 18-yard pass that brought the ball to the 24 of New Orleans. And on first down, Andy Dalton dropped back and hit A.J. Green for a 24-yard touchdown pass that made it 27-10 as Cincinnati put their lead back to 17 points over the Saints. So now the Saints took over on their own 20 with about 11.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But they would end up punting the ball after 8 plays, as they did pick up a couple first downs, but they would stall on their own 45. So now Cincinnati would take over with less than 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They had the ball backed up against their own end zone on their own 2-yard line, but they handed it off a couple times, and now it was 3rd and 5 from the 7, and Andy Dalton threw it to A.J. Green, and there was defensive pass interference, and now instead of having to punt the ball, it would be a first down on the Cincinnati 14 for the Bengals. Then on 3rd and 8, Hill ran for 11 yards and picked up another first down, and it was now first down on the 27 for Cincinnati. And then on 3rd and 2, they ended up only picking up 1, and out came the punting unit, and they would punt the ball from the 36, but they'd burned 4 minutes off the clock. And now with 3.5 minutes left, New Orleans would take over on their own 21, needing 3 touchdowns. They would end up faced with a 1st and 10, and they would fumble the ball, and now Cincinnati would take over with less than 2 minutes left. Andy Dalton would take 3 knees, and this game came to a close as the Bengals pick up an impressive win on the road in New Orleans, and they improved their record to 3-1, and the Saints are now 4-6. And the final score was Cincinnati 27, New Orleans 10, and with the loss, the Saints are now dropped out of first place as the Falcons technically are in first place in the NFC South. So the Bengals pick up a big win, and Andy Dalton was 16 for 22 with 220 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. He also had 12 yards rushing off of 5 carries. Drew Brees was 33 for 41 with 255 passing yards and a touchdown. He had 3 yards off of 1 carry. The leading rusher in this game was Jeremy Hill with 27 carries for 152 yards. The leading receiver in the game was A.J. Green with 127 yards off of 6 receptions, one of which was for a touchdown. Gresham had the 2 touchdowns. He only had 13 yards receiving, though. And those were his only 2 catches in the game, both touchdowns. He made them count. The leading tackler was Vincent Rey. He had 12 tackles in this game. Lemur had 10 tackles, Emmanuel Lemur. The leading tackler for the Saints was Lofton. He had 11 tackles, Curtis Lofton. And the Bengals didn't even have 1 sack. The Saints did have 1 sack. There was Harrelson, who had that 1 sack. There were no interceptions in this game. A lot of offense from the Bengals, not much offense from the Saints as the Bengals defense came to play down there in New Orleans. The final score, Cincinnati 27, New Orleans 10.